Hello everyone, Bashar here. So we have something nice for Synchronos. I have a few of these tricks up my sleeve, but I have not been doing videos on them. I was a little lazy, but today I am doing the first one. So guys, this is the Sand Devil. So this is Soulcross number 9. It's a pretty bit of an annoying room, and there is a beautiful and glorious strategy in which we solo with Oboro. Oboro is capable of keeping a permanent revive on death buff on her. So as you can see, she does this ability, right? She puts a crit rate on her, and if she crits, puts a perfect veil on herself. And when she receives a veil, she gets a 3-turn revive on death, and the cooldown is 3 turns, so that means a permanent revive on death on us. So what this means is we will have the revive on death at the ready every time the guy does the big AoE. So we only need to survive what's in between, and then we will be able to solo. So the gear, let's just do cursed, that's important. So around 250 speed, right? Some survivability around 55,000 HP and around 3.5k defense. We do not care too much for accuracy or resistance, and we go with 70% crit rate because she does buff herself with the crit rate, and 250 speed and all sorts of solo masteries, the increased speed for the dead allies, the increased damage for dead allies, right? That kind of stuff. I didn't want to do anything that's turn meter based like this one or this one, because that might maybe affect the tune negatively. This is of course useless. All of the other masteries in here are useless. We could have gotten. So she also has some use for Hydra, but as I said, if you wanna do this this way, and you might know that this room actually takes a good long while. And in here, what we're gonna do is here I will just bring some random champions. This is just to trigger the masteries, and this Fang Cleric has a 15% speed lead. I mean, you can just bring whatever useful lead that you have. You can bring a defense lead, you can bring an HP lead. The best one would be a speed lead, of course. So this strategy is mainly used by people like myself without touches. As you can see, she is gonna do marvelously. Revive herself. And so the only thing that we have to survive is these in between. And if you have a lot of experience with Sand Devil, after the big AoE, the only problem is the second ability that he does. That also does somewhat decent damage. The other two are pretty negligible, and in theory we should also be allowed to die to the big AoE that follows. But with the revive on death, of course, there is a problem of reviving with 0% turn meter, and there is a decreased speed debuff. So, and you might remember that the amount of survivability I gave him was nothing insane, right? 55k HP, 3.5k defense is not really much. You could make her a little tankier for more, for a higher sense of security maybe. But the thing is, then you would be cutting from her damage, right? And the more damage she has, the faster it's gonna go. And as you can see, guys, we are going marvelously. We are around the 15% damage mark, and it's been only a minute, right? So this is going to be like 6-7 minutes, I think. There could be the crits that are nasty. So the crit would have been 25k, but I think we will survive. And as I said, if you are getting paranoid about it, you can 6k HP, 4k defense or something like that, and that would be very, very safe. As you can see, thanks to the regen gear, see, that was a little bit dangerous. Thanks to the regen gear, we are able to restore all of the destroyed HP, and that is generally the deal. As you can see, it's fully restored, and that generally marks a successful solo, right? And so the thing is, because Sand Devil heals a little bit, right? If you make her damage worse, the duration would go longer in two ways. First of all, you have lower damage, so it will take a long amount of time to deplete his turn meter. And second of all, because he heals, it's like a little bit of a, you know, 2 steps forward, 1 steps back, right? And if you are taking 1.8 steps forward, then the 1 step back will be, you know, pulling you back, you know, harder than it used to, than the 2 steps forward. So I would suggest, you know, maxing out on damage while having, you know, a reasonable amount of survivability. 55k HP, 3.5k defense does it. You know, you could, you know, mix and match, but that is by no means high. And of course, not using any accuracy and resistance, right, helps, right? Also, having to have 70% crit rate helps a big time, right? Because the thing is, she does the crit rate buff. As you can see, it's permanently up, right? See, he puts up, does it? Now, well, in that case, it was not up because he died. But of course, it's very worth it, right, guys? Having 70% crit instead of 100% crit is a big deal. And keep in mind, we already have 20% base on everyone, right? 15%, you know, the real base crit chance, and the mastery for 5% more. So we normally try to fill 80% crit rate as a damager, right? With when you go for 70%, you only have to fill the 50%, which is great. It does look like 8 minutes, doesn't it? Yeah, maybe a little above 8 minutes. So if he doesn't cleanse that decreased defense that we are doing, it would have been nice, but he does. So the decreased defense is not the end of the world. As I was saying, you know, you can let go all pretense of accuracy and, you know, just not do it. I mean, I have an empowerment, I have a soul, right? I have the librarian upgrade, so I accidentally have some amount of accuracy. And another good thing, as you recall, is you do not allow yourself to get lapped because of her debuff transferring nature. So we cannot transfer the debuffs actually because the guy is immune to debuffs while he's awake, but at least we do get rid of them, right? Let's just demonstrate. Yep. That's not that ability. See? She gets rid of them. I mean, not a huge deal. But as you can see, you know, very safe, very secure. And this room, guys, so this room was, I think, rotation 4 Sand Devil. The filter set is from rotation 4. That is the first Synchronos rotation I have ever finished. And in hindsight, right, I realized it later. So, you know, after this room, there is the S17, the finite room, which gives a whopping 1000 of the bigger coins, bigger soul coins. So that room is very valuable, and I just don't allow anything to come between me and that room. But I have done maybe an hour and 20 minutes worth of manualing in this room, right? You know, because the thing is, this guy is blue, right? If you do not have a red reviver, if you do not have a decent red reviver with some healing capacity, his big AoE still hits quite hard. It's very hard to survive, right? The best champion I had was a blind seer. As you know, she's a void, and there is a 15% that she gets crit. And whenever I was getting crit, I was dying. So imagine having to do this entire fight with the hopes of not getting crit. So guys, 15% is not very big, but imagine for 20 or 30 rotations to try to dodge 15%. It's very, very hard, right? So the stuff that trivialized this room is, for example, Pythion when he goes in, and Duchess is very good. So Duchess is the wrong color, right? But the thing is, she has that beautiful AoE 15% damage reduction. So you slap on some defined pieces, right, that reduces area damage further, and she cannot die to the crit, right? When she doesn't die to the crit, it's over, right? Because that's the guy's biggest hit, and that doesn't kill you, and you have some sort of healing, and that will restore the destroyed HP. You can just bring any champion with healing capacity. It doesn't have to be Duchess herself, right? Or Duchess could wear bolster or regen, whatever it is. So it is rather trivial for people with Duchess. But if you don't have Duchess, it is pure pain, right? Or you would have to have extremely good gear, right? Very high amounts of HP and defense, so you can survive the crits, which is not very easy. Maybe you could do it with a, you know, good reviver like Blind Seer with 6 pieces of Defiant, right? And of course some healer to restore her HP. So I did it with 4 pieces of bolster for the healing capacity and 2 pieces of Defiant, and I still was not able to survive the crits, right? Or I was able to survive the crits if I was able to restore all of my HP and the crits were on the lower range. Because guys, there is a approximately 20% variance in damage when it comes to hits, right? You could receive a 25k crit, and you could also receive a 30k crit, right? That exists. Okay, I have successfully managed to keep you guys busy for 8 minutes, and as you can see, and you know, this is, you know, very, very good. As I said, guys, this room is terrible, so it doesn't have to be Fang Cleric. As I said, I just use Fang Cleric for 15% speed aura. Keep in mind, in Synchronos, the only auras that work are, you know, that work everywhere. So I could have brought Mikage for accuracy, which is, you know, pretty much useless. I could have brought in this, right? I could have brought in this, but I feel like speed is the better one. So that's about it, guys. Oboro can solo this. I wanna just show it to you again. Stuff, and you know, the +1, the 4 stars, they are not a must, as you can imagine, right? The only thing is you want this amount of survivability approximately, maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit lower, around 250 speed, as much damage as you can. As you can see, I had a pretty nice amount of damage. No accuracy, no resistance, 250 speed, including your Synchronos bonus, 70% crit, that sort of, and as much damage as you can, so you can cut the duration off. One thing to mention though, in this rotation, sadly, the room in front of the Sand Devil room is terribly and extremely hard, so this guide might not be very beneficial because a lot of people will be getting stuck in this S8. Allscore is pretty useful, but if you do not have Allscore, I can suggest this team to you. If you do not have Jamarsa, right? So Rian doesn't quite do it, right? Rian is a reviver as well, but Rian quite doesn't do it. I would just suggest doing the recruit program because getting Jamarsa is so much easier now compared to the past. Just let me show you. Guys, the thing that you have to do is to get 3 referral accounts to 10, right? You could ask your friends and they can do it in about, you know, 15 minutes maybe, or you can just, you know, self-refer, and as you can see, you know, 3 level 30s are fine, 3 level 10s are fine. So Jamarsa is useful for that room. Yeah, I mean, so I don't have Allscore, I can't pass that room. That's not correct, right? You can get past that room. This is perfectly good enough. I mean, you give Jamarsa some resistance, so you know she can survive. And there is more to mock up in the second wave, which you will be weak hitting to, right? Because of the affinity thingy. He can sometimes, you know, just block revive you. You know, just restart, right? Try to enter the third wave with 5 people that are alive and go for the Lunataril first. She does a lot of annoying stuff. You have to go for the Lunataril first, and then it should be, you know, face roll from that point on. I hope you can get past this room and utilize the Oboro strategy. And this Oboro strategy, guys, used to work on the boss as well. You could solo the boss, right? Amius, but Plarium relatively recently fixed this. Some Revive on Death champions could solo the boss because when the boss saw a single enemy up there, he was not using his healing ability, and so you were able to kill him eventually. Now he does, and you know he will out heal you whatever you do. So that strategy is out of the window. But Oboro has potential, and Oboro also is a good Hydra champion. So you know you could do 2 birds 1 stone, right? You could do Oboro for this place, and then you could use Oboro in Hydra. If you already have Hydra, if you have already have Oboro that is built for Hydra, I guess she can be used here. The stuff that I have are not, you know, world breaking. If you just don't have the Dead Ally speed though, I think you should be able to, you know, compensate for it for additional bit speed. So you lap the boss every once and then for additional healing, so you don't die in between the big AoEs. And that's about it, guys. I hope this helps. Goodbye. See you on stream.